there's a possibility some others will straggle in. We are not the church of midweek meeting anymore, are we? Wednesday nights used to be the time, right? Yeah. But John, I appreciate you coming out and being here. And Kathy asked me to introduce John. So since I didn't know him before this, I looked up some things about him. Things that John is, all right? John is the director of the Friends United Meeting Africa Ministries office, which is in Kisumu, Kenya. And that's been how many years now? 18 years. I was going to say we're nearing 20. So, yeah. So that's great. Yeah, 2005, right? And John is a doctor. Don't ask him to cure you of anything, though, because he's a doctor of leadership and global perspectives, or the global church. And that degree is from Portland Seminary, which is part of George Fox University. John is very well respected by friends in many parts of the world. And as well known, John has never met a stranger. And John is a farmer at heart, really. If you want to ask John about how he likes to relax, he goes and farms at his farm up in Kitale. Although this year he may have had more farming than he wanted to. Since FUM has taken on this sustainability project, John has been there a lot. Thankfully, it's near his home and near family there, but John's been spending a lot of time at the 900-acre corn farm. So that has been being harvested. I think close to being done, maybe. And it will be made into maize meal. Yes, we had first thought maybe it would be seed corn, but maize meal now. He is a passionate leader. He is a faithful Quaker who cares about Quakers everywhere, not just in East Africa. And John has a wonderful family, and Katrina and I do not have the ability to make anyone a saint, but we decided when we were there, if there was anybody who was a saint, it was Rose, right? Rose is a saint. If you've ever met Rose, you would agree. She's a wonderful entrepreneur and operator of a farm and keeper of the family and all of those good things. And yes, woman of faith, and we're really grateful to know her as well. So John, I'll pray, and there may be some of you who are watching online. We're glad you're with us as well, and we'll let John get started. God, we're grateful for the work in Kenya and East Africa, the work of Friends that has been happening for a long time. And we're grateful for the part that John plays in that and his faithfulness to you, his faithful calling that he is working hard to live out as you've called him to. And so we thank you for him, and we thank you for the work there, and pray that you would bless him as he speaks to us. In your name, amen. Thank you. Yes. Oops. Now this advances the slides, and I guess it's just this arrow going forward. You have to go back. I think it's happening. And the other one, it blows up. It just explodes in your hand. I don't know what it does. No, I don't know what it does. Oh, it's a pointer. Yeah, there we go.
Thank you. Good evening, friends. I make sure that sometimes I'm hard when I speak my Kenyan English. Sometimes you will hardly understand or get me. Friends, I'm glad this evening to be here with you, and I'm happy to see many old friends. And thank you, Sean, for the introduction. Sean was a colleague for quite a number of years before he joined you people here. And I'm glad that we are connecting again as I meet them on the ground here. Today, we are going to share out a few developments and a few missions work, and what is going on in Kenya, what has been happening, and what is going on and what is yet to happen. So we may see what is happening, and I believe all of us, God has given us that opportunity to interact more with Africa. And as you all know, Friends United Meeting has a goal, and its goal is to see that the Friends Church in Africa grows. I just wanted to begin by trying to bring out your understanding that the Friends United Meeting has operated in Kenya for quite a number of years. And we've seen Friends United Meeting in Kenya since 1902. We have seen several growth of ministries. We have seen several growth of work. But at this particular point, I'm beginning from the time when Friends United Meeting came back after the 1964, when they left back to the United States after the Kenyan got independence, and the British government gave a lot of warnings that you friends, you foreign missionaries, you can't stay in this country. We have left leadership. It is under the hands of the Africans, so your security is not guaranteed. And so missionaries, most foreign missionaries left, including Africa, the Quakers, which most of them actually end up leaving Friends churches in Africa. They came back to America. At that time, we had almost over 800 missionaries that were everywhere. Pastors, doctors, teachers, all round of missionaries were in Kenya, and they spread all over the country, and they were doing a great work. But after that independence, the threat to the security made them to leave immediately to North America. 2005, as some of our friends who are here can reconnect, that is the time that Friends United Meeting opened its office in Kisumu, called Africa Ministries. And at that particular time, when the position was advertised, I think the person who lured me into applying for this position was none other than Ben Richmond, who was in office. So Ben Richmond convinced me so much, although we made a lot of argument. We argued several times before I decided to say, okay, I will put in the application after a lot of argument with Ben Richmond. However, the office after it was actually declared vacant, I applied and I was given the position. That was under Ritha McCutcheon, and Colin South was from Britain, who was the Global Ministries Director. I met Eden Grace, the late Eden Grace, may her soul rest in peace. I came from Nairobi, from the bank, and I flew to Kisumu. And I was introduced to a young couple with the two kids. That is Eden Grace and James, and Jesse and Isaiah. For the first time, new people who knew nobody. We didn't know anybody for ourselves. We introduced and we became friends. And from there, Ritha told us, John and Eden and James, you establish the office. Start the office. Look where the office is and open it. There was no office. We were discussing in a hotel. But he said, whatever you do, lay your work over these 4 priorities of Friends United Meeting, which is evangelism and outreach, leadership development, communication, and global partnership. All your work should be set over these priorities of Friends United Meeting. That's how we ended up setting up the office and moving on. And more so was to create a lot of relationship and unite the yearly meetings in Kenya that had actually been at loggerhead with one another because the split was not done in a good way when there was no uniting body that could coordinate them. At that particular time, that was the reason why African Ministries was being formed to go and create a unified yearly meetings in Kenya. And that was our goal. So all the above 4 priorities have fully been implemented in Africa, and this has seen Friends United Meeting Africa's presence expand widely in Kenya, in Uganda, in Tanzania, DRC, Zambia, and Malawi, as we will see in this report as we go forward on our work. Friends United Meeting has always been the pioneer of Quaker missions in Africa. And the question sometimes people will ask here, especially as we speak here, I speak in most in North America, is that is Friends United Meeting still in the business of planting churches in other parts of the world? And my answer is yes. It is very active, and many new church Quaker meetings are on the line of being established, as you will see in this presentation. Friends United Meeting is not a stagnated organization, as some people may think. It is a progressive organization. It's a progressive church, and it is moving into various directions. And why is Quaker movement popular in Africa through Friends United Meeting when it is sliding down in North America? The question is, nobody knows, but Jesus knows. And that is one thing I say, that the growth of Quaker church in Africa is the strength of the Friends United Meeting. And this growth of the Quaker ministry in Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, Rwanda, Burundi, and Islam is attributed to one instrumental missionary, Arthur Chilson. Arthur Chilson, who pioneered the establishment of a vibrant reformed pastoral Quakerism that has continued to thrive in the region. Arthur Chilson, who was among the four, was the key leader of the establishment and a key church planter that led the establishment of Quaker churches in Kenya. And after 1927, he came back. He came back in 1930, 32. He went to Rwanda, to Burundi, and established the French churches in Burundi, which Burundi now opened up another church in Rwanda and in the eastern part of Congo. So all the churches I see, although in Rwanda, Burundi, and the eastern Congo, are a part of Evangelical Friends, but they were established by one missionary. So we look at ourselves as children of the same father, the same mother. We just have different houses, but we are the same children. So we see ourselves grow into this, and I say that the question that I say, why is the church sliding in North America and growing there? The sliding of the church in North America should be a strength as such that when the church is growing in Africa, it should be a strength to the church in North America, because it is North America that planted the church that is growing. So what I say, they gave their best, and they gave it all, and that even if you slide, you are not. It's just like a child and a parent. Sometimes you get old, and the child continue to thrive. So when it thrives, you don't feel jealous about the child, or you don't feel bad. You feel that things are growing, and as a result, you are also benefiting. And I believe the growth of the church in Africa will see the French church in this region grow equally. Currently, we have several things and so many missions programs we undertake within Africa and Africa Ministries, and this just but a few. It's not all, but this just but a few. We have missions in Turkana, we have missions in Samburu, we have FTC for pastoral training, we have missions in Tanzania, one of the fastest growing Quaker churches in the world. We have missions in Zambia and Malawi right now as I'm speaking. We have missions in Uganda, missions in DRC. We have a program we just began recently called Development of Youth in Missions program. There's leadership, training leaders in Kairos, that missions training of our church leaders to develop a mission focused mind. As you will know that the Africa has been more on a receiving end when it comes to missions. When it comes to missionary, we sit back and look at our friends from North America who do. If you ask anybody in Africa, not even a Kenyan, an African, who is a missionary, they will tell you should be a white person. That is because for many years, they have never seen a black missionary. all missionaries has been people from North America. So that one, by default, nobody looks at, they don't look at themselves in Africa as missionary. So it has been a drive to see how we can actually do a paradigm shift and do a total understanding, a shift. And the Kairos training is one of the major training that help to really do a mindset from what they have been imagining to know that we are also a mission sending. We can be missionaries. We have healthcare missions, specifically right now at Lugulu, Friends Hospital. We have peace program development in communities and schools, and we have sustainability program growing over 800 acres of corn. What Sean was talking about here, that is a sustainability project to give us money to do all these missions you are seeing here. All these missions you are seeing, they need money. They cannot operate just on the mouth or just speaking. They need people to be on the field. They need people to train. They need people to several things. Therefore, there is need for money that is needed here in this field. I begin with the program of Friends, Turkana Friends Mission. And Turkana, when we talk about Turkana Friends Mission, we are talking about this kind of environment. This is the face. I can just pick it up to say, this is the face of Turkana. For those who have been to Turkana, they will now tell you this is what Turkana is. And the face of it is what you see, a dry environment. And this is their traditional houses. This is how the community, this is a village, this is a house. And these houses are built by women. And men, sometimes you won't see them anywhere. You may see a few old men carrying out some seat and walking out with their goats or whatever. But in many cases, they are out taking care of their animals. So Turkana is a dry area, semi-arid. So once a while, sometimes it can receive rains in a year, or sometimes there was a time it went for 2 years without rain, and all the animals died. People still survive, but hardship. So this, I look at it, and then if you tell them, get out of this place, come and stay where we are, they tell you, this is our home. This is our home. Where do you want to take us? They won't even enjoy living if they come to Kitale, which is now the next town, it's too cold for them. Seriously, it's too cold, and they feel like they are being punished. And some students who come to French Theological College for training, they really suffer. They suffer because they feel it is too cold. It's like winter for them. Because they are used to hot environment, day and night. So when they come to another change of climate, it is quite a thing. A story is told, and not a story, that's true. Turkanas are also good people. They get environment, they run. Somebody who can run in a hot environment, he can go far. There are also athletes. So they talk about 4 young athletes from Turkana. They got a scholarship by one of the North American companies, and they were given scholarship to go and learn and train in Alaska. Somebody who was doing that felt is doing a great thing. Is getting them from this environment to a better environment. And then they will thrive, and they do the athletes. And these guys who are really finding good running. So when it was winter, these young men left the house in the morning early to go and run. And they went and ran, they didn't come back. What happens is they found them on the ground. They are all frozen. It was sad. They were frozen. Dead. Because they were thinking that it's cold, so we ran, because they ran longer distance and they went far, not knowing how bad. And I think it was a bad induction that had been given. From this to the frozen, it was a wrong decision to have run to those friends. Sometimes when we look at Friends, this mission is one of the missions which is the northwest of Kenya, and it's a semi-arid, as I've said. The needs vary from lack of water, lack of food, hot weather, pastoral support, and church buildings. So what you can see where I'm standing there, that is one of the church. It's a church, and it's also a classroom. Children learn there. Just sit on the ground as they are taught, especially the early childhood education. So they begin from there. They are also worshiping from there. And all is, and when you go in there worshiping, they are just happy. They just sing with joy. Sean, they have experienced this. They sing with a lot of joy. They don't sing like they are feeling bad. They have so much in the character and enthusiastic about their ministry. And so this is what you can see is what is mostly their churches. In most cases, these are the faces of many. These are the older women and the men of Turkana. Sometimes it's very hard to see men of Turkana in the churches. You will see more women. These women, you see the two women you are seeing here, they have been in the church of Turkana. I've seen them for quite some years. And you might have come and encountered these women. And they are very, very happy. And they feel so excited. And they are so proud of Friends United Meeting, because they say Friends United Meeting's presence in Turkana has given them life. These are a few older women. In most cases, you can't find older people. You'll find young people who look old, but they are not old. It's because of the hardship that makes them look old. But these are one of the older women that I noted, and I've seen them year after year. God has sustained them for quite a number of years to be what they are at this particular point. At many times, you will find that in Turkana, we have also do quite a number of ministry for food distribution, even to friends. We have done some food distribution sometimes. It has been an occurrence thing that we've been doing for missions, giving some food, and you can see the children just sit there feeling. When the children see, sometimes when in the last few period, especially this year and last year, the famine was so bad, and I think we did a lot of raising funds and raising food from Kenyans and others. And there was some impact fund that Friends United Meeting had added on. So we went to Turkana almost 4 times sending food, because it was just bad. And the government is overwhelmed, is unable to carry out those kind of. So most cases, people who provide food in Turkana most of them are organizations that are not even the government. And sometimes also we have women, and also sometimes they have a choir. There's a women. This is a Kalokol monthly meeting, and when they mean to sing, they sing. This is a choir, and it was there. Women were welcoming Zelika. Zelika Kalabu is now one of the trustees of Friends United Meeting. He was the USFW clerk Kenya, and she's very much. She went to Turkana the first time with Sean, and she has developed a love place for Turkana, and for women Turkana, she has just brought them to herself. And we always these days we coordinated. John, I want to go. Do you have some other items, or do you have food? We organize things and give her, and she takes it up.
She's in the red there.
She's the one there. She's the one who is in the red. Yeah, she's the one who is the red here. This is Zelika, who is a former clerk of USFW Kenya, and is now the trustees of Friends United Meeting in Kenya. So this is sometimes the women that have life. You can see there is also life. Kalokol is the headquarters where mission was established in Turkana in 1970. That's where the mission was established, and it was put at that particular place in Kalokol. There are quite a number of facilities on that place at Kalokol. In the mission also, you'll be surprised to find that John Morrow has actually developed a very good program Many of these people never went to school. And John did what we call an adult class. And he teaches those people who never, because most of the girls get married when they're young. They hardly step in a class. Men are just on the taking care of animals and going to defend the family, and they become also banditry within the community, and they never step in school. But those who remain there, and John has been having an opportunity to do literacy training. You see, this was trying to give them how to read and write, and they're teaching them. And this one, they just get mad. They've never been to a school. John Muru's initiative, it came out of him seeing his people having lack of knowledge to know how to read even the scriptures. He undertook it on himself to do this training. John Murray is a genius. And he has transformed many people into this program of just giving them. There is one pastor. Although if you know John Ereng, you know John Ereng. John Ereng was just like these ones who never knew how to read and write. And through this class, John Ereng came out very strongly. He is now reading the scriptures. He went to another Bible school to learn. He is a very good pastor. He is an entrepreneurship. Through this literacy training, just to make them understand how they can read, how they can get information. This is John Morrow, and he still handles it as an initiative. He has carried it the same to Southern Sudan, because the people in Southern Sudan are also the community that is illiterate, that have never had education, is also doing equally the same, which I find it quite an exciting thing that John has actually come up with. In many cases, when you visit Turkana, you have church services into these kind of buildings. The other one, you saw a building, the first one was a building of structures. In many cases, is under the tree. This is a natural tree. And this tree, since it has not died, it offers shade. So it is a service. And here the pastors are there, preaching there. Here, this is Simon, they're actually having the church is moving on. And it is, in many cases, when you visit there, you will have such meetings with people under this tree. And it is very cool under the tree as the breeze is moving on. You just pray that they don't have the stormy dust. But if there is no dust, it's a very cool environment. So Turkana, despite the environment, people still find way to survive. Still find way to worship. Still find way to praise God in whatever situation they are in. They praise God in that area. They praise God in the building. The Kalkol women, there was a church that they would build that is a stony building. The other building I started with was just with the sticks. Now this one is a natural building, which is a tree. So they find every opportunity, every space that gives them opportunity to worship. And they worship God. And the other thing is that we have also a very good team of pastors. We have a very good team of pastors. These are just some of them. These pastors are very committed. They are the ones who goes on planting these churches and getting these people, because something interesting, and Jean, you'll bear me witness. When you visit Turkana and visit where their church is, you hardly see any other church nearby. There's no other church you say there is a Catholic church here, there is a church here. Whatever you find is on a friends, and you move, no meeting. There is nothing. So what they do in Turkana is, these people also need to be taught. They need the gospel. They need to be shown that, oh yes, we love you, we care. So Friends United Meeting presence in Turkana has created a loving, a welcoming opportunity to the people who feels they are not even Kenyans. In many cases, when you arrive in Turkana, they will greet you and say, how is Kenya? In other words, from the other side you are coming from is Kenya. Turkana is a different world. But Friends United Meeting has created a room for them to feel we are a human. We are loved. These pastors are doing a great job that they serve in a very difficult environment. So some of the support of Friends United Meeting towards Turkana, it goes into enabling these pastors, because you don't expect People meeting under that tree. People meeting under that house that is just built by sticks to give offering that will be enough to pay a pastor. So while at the same time these people need to be given food. So the support is what goes to give these pastors the line to continue carrying out the ministry. This is just a few. We have quite a number because we have several churches in Turkana. This is just a few pastors, which we are very proud to see that once they pick up the ministry, they run up with it. They go with it with a lot of passion. They don't do it with quarrel, with crying or complaining. They have a passion and they accept the situation and they move on. And God has been faithful to this. This is one people that you can, if you want a faithful community, go to Turkana. You'll see the faithful community. That if you are living in a world of complaints every now and then, visit Turkana. You will never complain the rest of your life. Because you see the situation and how they are and how happy they are, then you wonder, why do I complain? Why do I complain? Why these guys are just as happy? Here they are just as happy singing. They are in the worship meeting again, singing and dancing here. It's quite an exciting moment to have this kind of trees. They don't dry. There are certain trees just there, even if it becomes as hot as what, it remains as green as it is. So it provides a serenity environment where they can come under and worship God. And the worship in the services in Turkana don't start in the morning. They start in the midday when they have gone to look for something. That they come in the evening. So they have the worship services, some of them, especially in this particular area. Besides, whatever the condition we do in Turkana, the learning must continue also. We are teaching the learning for the young people. I told you we have those classes that are children. And here, what amazes me is these kids. You see, this is one of the churches, but there are no seats. They are just sitting in the soil. And the kid is very happy. He's writing as he's being taught. And this kid will come out and he'll become a very strong person. This is another classes. This is another classroom. This is another classroom. So you see different type of classes for children are learning in Turkana. And they learn. And we get great men. And we get great women. And they're actually coming out. And it has transformed the community. And the community is totally transformed through this method. So the mission in Turkana is not just about speaking Jesus. We speak about Jesus. We also look at how do we support them in the food. How do we enable them get the education, the learning education, so that they are also not just being people who are not having any. It doesn't matter the environment. We train. The child learning has to be done in that environment. So that is one of the things that say that, to me, Turkana is a complete mission. Just Turkana alone is a complete mission work that a duplicate of Turkana can be done anywhere else in a different context, but there is a holistic mission work in Turkana. And that one is something when you go there, you will never find yourself finding yourself out of place. We have this group we call the Samburus. The Samburu mission now is another mission that has been brought out. And it's a mission that has quite a number of things that are going on in this. And the mission in Samburu is also in the northern side, that is on the eastern side of Turkana. Samburu is on the eastern side of Turkana, and in the middle, the northern part of Kenya. Turkana is in the northwest part of Kenya, while Samburu is on the eastern side of Turkana. This mission was also pioneered by one of the missionaries who was in Turkana, Isaiah Bikokwa, when he left and now pursued westward of Turkana to find also people who were not being reached, and the Samburu mission was established in that particular area by the Isaiah in 80s. That was closer to 1984-85 when the Samburu Friends Mission was established. It is also similar. The only challenges in Samburu is that Samburu is now, it's not so harsh like Turkana, but it has also a harsh environment. The only big problem of Samburu is it has bandits. There is insecurity. The Samburus are a neighboring people, the Turkana, they neighbor the Pokots. And these people, they keep animals. And something interesting is they like stealing each other's animals. They like going for each other. I normally give this example for you who saw movies of Texas cowboys, how they ran out with the cow stealing and with the guns. So those who don't have the horses, but they run, but they are armed with the guns, going to a community, and the community exchanges with the guns. They will steal, kill, and they run with the animals. The government security forces will follow them, and they will even kill the government forces. They are not a joke. Right now, the government has taken their whole force contingents of people in Samburu.
John, I read, I think today, that one of our church members in Samburu was killed by bandits today or overnight. There was just on the...
Oh yeah, and that area of Losuko up there, it's always hit. You see now, that's the only problem we have in Samburu is insecurity. And the place, this is the Samburu people's stays. You see there, you will see these animals. They live with them. These ones are a part of the community. They crisscross with them with their animals and all that. So this is an image of Samburu. I will give this as an image of Samburu, as I give the houses of the image of Turkana. Samburu is more of this. You will see more of these animals which are crisscrossing. And something interesting, the people are used to them. They are a part of them. They don't even kill them. That's part of the community. So this one you will see more, and we have a lot of them. When it is dry, they do. But when it is not dry, there are so many animals. People live within the animal reserves areas of Samburu, where you can actually find. Samburu is continuing to experience a change, and some of this is Samburu Empowerment Center. This is a center that was actually put the area, and there is somebody there who is facing the other side. I don't know whether you can notice who this person is. This was actually Sean and Katrina really were instrumental in overseeing this project come up. They were very strong. One of the things, the challenges that really came up, they experienced when they started putting up this house empowerment center is they drove all the way from Kisumu. They went to Samburu. They went to this place. They parked their vehicle. They were inspecting the project. And all of a sudden, they had people making noise. Their vehicle had caught fire from nowhere. Their vehicle caught fire from nowhere. And it burned. So they didn't come back with the same vehicle they went. we had to find a way how they would come back from Samburu, because their vehicle they had actually burned. So this is an empowerment center that we have been building to help Samburu. There are small shops which are supposed to be rented out and then be an income for the Samburu Friends Mission. Unfortunately, it is not really doing so well because it is the same area you hear saying that area and the churches the other side is where the bandits, the Pokots, always come to attack the Samburus to steal their animals. And when they steal, it's just how Jesus said a thief comes to kill, destroy, and take everything he wants. They steal and kill. So this Lusuk is in that area, which has been affected by these bandits. That is really affecting the community. But this was the houses that have been put up. The electricity had been connected. That's why you see there is Getri. Getri is the one who now coordinating the missions work. and they were glad that the electricity had been set up and had been connected, so the power is in that place. Sometimes something interesting about these houses, they took time before people rented out. So when I went there the other time and I was asking, what has happened? Because the bandit doesn't reach that center. Where it reaches is quite another distance. The market center, in fact, at one point, these houses had been occupied by members from our churches who had run away from the bandit area. They had come in for refuge. So the question that was coming in was that there was something that happens to this center that created a bad myth in the community and the business community. When Sean's Katrina's vehicle went there and it burned, and within some weeks later on, the storm came and blew the roof. So it came up, they started saying that this church here is a devil worshipper. They started calling that these people here are not Christians. You saw, they came here, their vehicle burned. Within a short time, the storm came and blew up. So some of the other churches start spreading wrong rumor to the business community. So people feared to rent. So when I was there, I met with the leaders of Samburu and pastors and say, there is one thing you need to do. Mobilize all your pastors and invite all other pastors from other churches. Go and have a prayer meeting on the ground with other churches. Let them know you are a Christian body. You are not a body that is doing queer things. So they organized and went there and had a very good movement. They had a very good service under the new leader who is there. So they had a good service and a prayer and all that, and the other pastors, churches came in, and I hear that people have started coming in. It changed. You just have to change the mindset, the psychology of the people, because they were thinking, these people must not be human beings. They might not be normal people. And just other churches were just spreading wrong message. Unfortunately, we had to counter it by prayer. And prayer does everything that it does. So we saw, in Samburu, beside this empowerment, there is a healthcare center at Lotulele. This is where the headquarters of Friends Samburu is. We have a new mission, the clinic that was built up, and this clinic is serving a community. The government has really accepted. He has sent in a medical officer who is serving. Recently, when we were there, we connected the water to the clinic. This tanker that is there had no water connection. We connected the water from the pump, from the well to the tank. We built on the other side a toilet because they didn't even have a toilet. A sock pin was not even there. We made sure. Now, after that was finished, we have even painted a new charter here, which is very clear. Now, what I'm hearing is that the place is full, is packed with people. It is giving, and something interesting again. This place brings so many people. The church on the ground is full. People are sitting outside every Sunday. The church is full and people are sitting outside. That church that is at this place is down here. And they said people have just now come in a big way to see that this center, this health center is reaching out. And many of the people who are in people are children, and many, because the children are prone to a lot of malaria and a lot of ailment. And in Samburu, the people who find having children are children having children. Children having children. When I was in Iowa, I met one of the pastors who is pastoring a Congolese meeting at Marshalltown. So when we were driving from Marshalltown, we are going to a retreat. There was a retreat for pastors. So I happened to carry this pastor. So as we moved, I asked, how many children do you have? And she told me I have 11 children. But I have 2 in Kenya, which will be 13. I say, okay, that's a good job you've done. And then I asked, and then I kept quiet. Then I asked, by the way, how old are you? I'm 38. Okay. I kept quiet. As we drove, then I asked again, how old were you when you got married? Because 13 children, 38. How old were you? He said, 13 years. This is the Samburu I'm talking about. 13 years, was getting married. He said he got his first child at 14. No wonder he can have 13-year children. Because under normal age, you cannot have 13 children unless... But something also what happened is he had 3 triplets at a go. So what I'm trying to say is that Samburu, many kids, you look at this. This is a mother. You see, this is a mature woman. This is just a child. He's having a child. There's another one here. He's just having a child. So, and that's why the girl child education we are actually promoting, to help them get the education and avoid these early marriages that you see that are taking place. But the center, this is what the services the Friends do. Friends United Meeting do these services to the community. This is one of the churches. It's a big church that has been put up in Baragoi. Have you reached Baragoi? This is the big church they had to put. And the Baragoi, you know very well, it's at the center between the Turkanas and the Samburus. This church is a peace center. At Baragoi, just down, is where the bandits, when they had actually gone to Samburu, stolen a lot of animals, and the security people were following them into the valley that is in Baragoi near the people, those bandits went, they left the animals in the valley, they came up, climbed the tree, police came in, and they sprayed police with the bullets, and they killed over 20 police officers. It was sad. So this area is known as a very tough area. But the Quakers are something interesting. The spirit of Quakerism is just everywhere. They went and put a church there. And this church, there are so many people. We could see many people were actually, even the kids were carrying water from some places going to build. The men and others were sitting and strategizing how to build. It was built collectively by the community. And even among them, we had the Turkanas and the Samburus. People who fight were together. So it is a church that is considered as a peace church. It's a church that is built for bringing peace between the Samburus and the Turkanas. When there is crossfire at that church particular level, there's no crossfire at that particular church. And the pastor there is a lady. There's a lady pastor. It's doing so well. And the church is growing so strongly. So I pray that as we see these people in those particular areas, you see so many things taking place. Samburu Church continue to do quite a number of communities work and the girl child education. Here they had just been given some sanitary towels during that time. These are the girls who are being supported, and these are also men who are obligatory who are involved during election to teach them the peace work program, so that during that election period they should never be engaged into. Friends United Meeting reaches in every aspect. That's when you hear when somebody talks about negative about Friends United meeting, he touches my heart. He kills me because he does not know what Friends United meeting is doing on the ground, how it affects and impacts the community all over in that area. When you look at this, what we are impacting, these are the girl child education support. These are girls in school. These girls, if they were not here, they would be having children in that clinic. They will be carrying children in their back and the clinic. In fact, this one, they will be having even 2 or 3 children. But the education has given them an opportunity to move a second level. And this just continue transforming the community's mind from just taking kids to giving birth and going to fight. So there is something where they're being done, because now we have taken the girls out of the community to learn, and the boys are now being taken to go and fight to protect the community. Because what it comes up is that when a Samburu boy is born, they will take one child to school, another one has to go and protect the family. So when he becomes a bandit, and he's to train how to fight with the guns. How do we do this? It's another opportunity, another level that we are going to look at how we shall start also the education of the boy child. Currently, we are dealing with the girl child to make sure that there is, we normally say you educate a girl, you educate a whole community. When a woman is educated, the community is educated. When a woman is not educated, I'm telling you this, because who stays with the child? Most are the women. So when a woman has the knowledge, the children will have the knowledge. When a woman has no knowledge, then next. The second one is a Mount Elgon Christmas for children. And this is an area that we will see how it is. There is one person there who has taken himself to be the Father Christmas, though he doesn't look one. We will see. This is another community on Mount Elgon. It's a marginalized community. It is isolated on the hill, and there are people down who are driving, and them are on the mountain there, fighting among themselves, and looking at themselves as marginalized among the people on the ground driving. And people hardly get to them. And out of this community also, the children, they face the same children with the girls. There was a school that had about 29 children who were about the age of 12, between 12 and 10 years, got pregnant. And that is a concern. And we normally have, who is this Santa Claus? Can somebody recognize this person?
That's a very handsome Santa Claus.
Can somebody recognize who is this? Who is this? Can somebody? At one point, when they were doing this Christmas, Sean became the Santa Claus. And he really reflected one. It was a moment on the mountain. The mountain when kids were just dry. They were just very enthusiastic to see the Santa Claus live, not through the movies. So Sean did once. Why is this taking place? Give the community and the young people a new perspective of life, and confidence and encouragement. This is to make them to know that you are a human like us. Because we had been looked at them as people who are just bandits. And at that particular time, they organized also having food for them. They would organize, this was food for them, making meal for them, so that they feel and eat with them, with the others. It is something that the girls are now given sanitary towels. And this is something that is very good for them, for these girls, so that they are not even in the process of trying to, because in most cases they don't have sanitary towels. When they start going to the periods, they don't go to school. And that is the time now they start knowing that, we are women, they are ready to get married to give birth to children. So that is now the education that comes in. And the Get Tree has been actually very instrumental on that. And that's what came up and said that now he had to have some session the other time. We started with the girls the men were actually trying to give some lessons to the men to make them understand, to know who they are and grow from where they are to a different level. Even the girls had to have an opportunity to jump the rope and feel that a part of the community. Sometimes it's not just going there to speak about Jesus and telling people God saved on what. This alone is a ministry. This alone is a ministry that you can't just leave out what it is. Friends, we have another institution that is very important to us and a very thriving institution in Kenya and in Africa at large. This is the FUM Theological College. FUM Theological College is one institution that is where we find ourselves live. When our churches are growing, bring pastors there, it trains, and we send out to minister in every aspect. It has pastors from Tanzania, from Rwanda. We have brought people we have trained this time we didn't have, but previously we had some from Congo, and we have all over the country from different communities. Now the Quaker Church in Kenya is no longer just the Luyas. It has created the barriers to other communities. I thank John Sarin Fund has been very good in supporting this institution, and also allocated about $10,000 to our office, where we use it to bring new students from Tanzania and the non-Luya community, to bring them to FTC. And that has seen FTC be completely not just a Luya institution. It is now almost becoming an international institution. And that fund, John Sarin gives us, it has actually, we brought in people from Rwanda, we brought in people from Uganda, and the majority of the people being trained now is Tanzania because of the fast growing. And it has seen, and the money all ended up in FTC. And the FTC has continued to grow. FTC, as we speak today, it's grown to a very large institution. As we are saying, this was a big graduation team that was graduated with a higher number of pastors that are graduating out. The FTC is the area where we always have our board meeting. This was our FUM board meeting where Robert is standing. This is where they are graduating. So FTC is now a training hub for Quakers in Kenya. Any activity that we do for training, we don't now take it anywhere out. FTC takes up. We do the training from there. We do everything that FTC, the Theological College, is now doing. Bachelors, I see them, they're already beginning another master's class. They have the team, they have the teachers. The team have actually qualified to handle the master's classes that are already starting at FTC. So what it is just need the more support systems. Is as you know, most theological seminaries that are struggling, even here. Seminaries, it doesn't attract many students because people who goes to seminaries is not a very enterprising. It's not an enterprising industry. It's an industry of call. You must have a call. It's not that you go when you qualify. When you qualify, you go and make money as a pastor. It doesn't, and that's what doesn't attract many young people to come in, because after graduating, then what? I go to be a pastor. What will I get? So unless you have a call, you can't go to a seminar. Unless you have another job. And that is why now what is making FTC now to have many students that are those who come in, we call them school-based. Those who are working, and during holiday they come and they train. So you are training to be a minister, but you are going to do a bivocation. That is what we encourage. You can have an income there and do your ministry work. But just to depend on the pastoral ministry is tough. And it's not, so that's why it's not attracting. But FTC has continued to thrive in that particular level. So we have that ministry that we to do. Without FTC, our ministry in Africa will not grow. Recently, we had a very good pastors conference that brought all these pastors in Kenya, Tanzania, Uganda. We had others from Rwanda, from Congo, And we had a few from Rwanda and a few from Burundi came and attended this pastors' conference in Mombasa. We had over 800 people who gathered, attended this conference that was so full of energy, and the people were so charged into this. This is where the pastors come and feel refilled and charged to move forward and carry out their ministry. And we held it at Mamangina Girls High School in Mombasa. And this is some of the ministry that helps us move forward to do all this. And this was a moment where we were actually raising up to draw people, to show them that we have missionaries in Africa, in Kenya. And out of this team that is standing there, the people who are here, this is Wekesa, who is the chairman of the African Board of Missions. This one here is Nondo, who is in charge of the church in DRC Congo. This one, Nondo. This one is Daniel, who was the former director of Samburu. This one is Dorcas from Tanzania. This one is Akoto, who is in charge of the mission work and handling the work of friends on the Mount Elgon. He's handling Mount Elgon. That is John Muru in the back side, who is actually representing Turkana and the southern Sudan. This is Robert, who is a missionary. You know very well that Robert has an FTC is a field staff. FTC is there as a field staff, as a missionary. So these are all missionaries within the Kenyan context. And who is not there, who is not there is the one in the list, is on a note here. Our brother Oscar Mbali, who is not here, who will be among the team. Then we have Marian Becker. When we call them, he said that he identifies himself among the African missionaries. So Marian Becker came up and said, okay, I'm part of the missionaries, because I do missions work among the women. So this was actually bringing to the pastors, to the entire leaders, to the entire church to know, if you've never seen the face of missionaries, I was telling the pastors, these are now the face of missionaries we have, who are the missionaries within Africa, and doing the great work that's now being seen in that level. We have a very thriving ministry under the USFW, a prayer meeting. This is a ministry that has given us a lot of energy. They were gathered here. This was a place, were you there at Keveye? They were at Keveye, guys. They meet in thousands. Even recently they just met recently at Chebuyusi. They come in thousands from all over Kenya. And they just come for nothing else but just for prayer. Thousands of them. Just go down, pray, intercede for their families, intercede for the church, intercede for everything. So it's just praying for everything else. And these women have been praying this even when the church was in pieces. The women remained one. One of the things that I have seen women, USFW, they don't go across the boundaries. Even when yearly meetings were not in agreement, USFW in Kenya were together. Even when some yearly meetings had refused to join what the Friends Church Kenya, the USFW Kenya remained one. Some of them were threatened by their clerks of the main meeting. Why are you joining the group? You are Kenyan, you are not part of it. And women say, we are a women. We don't know what you are telling about Kenya. We are a women. And where women are praying, we will be there. And that managed to unite. And I'm happy, even the USFW here, I've seen them doing equally the same. They have no boundaries. Whether you belong to that meeting, you belong to this meeting, USFW is a USFW. And that is the only way to bring the church. And it has helped us to move forward. We have another mission, which is Lugulu Friends Mission. Lugulu is a long-term FUM mission of healthcare and the communities. And this is the only strong mission hospital in Western Kenya. You go to Western Kenya, the biggest mission hospital is Lugulu. There's no other Lugulu. We had one for Catholics in Mukumu. My friend, it is just gone down. And the Quakers still thrive. Irrespective of who we are, we still do. So Lugulu is thriving. This is just a renovated women's ward, which has been done and renovated so well, and it is opened up, and it's by the support of Friends United Meeting. And so FUM has continued to support this mission hospital. As we speak today, I think FUM is taking another step to apply for them is going through the step of applying an Asha grant. They want to put up a new hospital, which they have really come up with a plan for it. But this is a mission, healthcare mission that was actually initiated. This is the finance office of the hospital, and our finance officer, Mons, was testing the new machine that had just been bought into the office, and trying to test and see how they are, and making sure that the resources that are going to there that are actually well taken care of. So we continue to connect and see the mission. The Mulugulu Mission Hospital has also outreaches programs that reaches to other communities. We have a doctor bed program and a general support to Lugulu. A doctor bed program is where people, you say, I want to contribute maybe once or whatever, or a monthly level, at least $300 for a bed for Lugulu. When you take $300, at least somebody, because many people, patients will come in, they will be treated. Lugulu Hospital will do one thing. They treat first before they ask for money. And then when they find for money this person has, they will send social workers to go to their home, and they find there is nothing, not even a cow to sell. It's out of that. If they find there is something, they tell them to work and pay the debt. But when they find these people are completely as dry as Turkana, then their doctor bed fund pays for the bed this patient is on, and the patient is released to go home, because the money from the doctor bed have paid the medication, the care that was taken to the hospital. So a doctor bed helps many vulnerable families for Lugulu as we move forward. I want to move to the last ministry that is very key, and that is Tanzania Mission. For the last 10 years, FUM has invested heavily in Tanzania's spiritual and leadership development and the church growth. We have seen the churches grow from 7 churches to over 68 churches in 18 regions out of 24 regions. This strategy was strategized in 2014 to evangelize and plant Quaker churches in all 24 regions of Tanzania. And by August this year, they have reached 18 regions, planting Quaker churches. This is commendable work done by local meetings pastors who are being trained at FTC. These pastors need support to continue nurturing the new churches, the new Quaker church in their areas, and many new churches are being planted nearly every month. Even when I'm here, another 3 churches have just been planted in another place. Until I told them, please don't go further planting churches. If it is anywhere I've told, but I've always told them, please stop planting churches. And the more you say stop, the more the churches grow. Because it's becoming more unmanageable. But who am I to stop? Because what happens is that the church is in this community, and then another community far away hears about the good church. They say, we want to open a church in our place. You come to put a church. So this pastor can't refuse. He goes and plants a church, and they're just meeting under trees. I would like to bring to your attention, when we talk about Tanzania, I want you to look at this. This is where the main focus of our missions right now in Africa is. And a big effort of Friends Church is focused in Tanzania. The black dots are representing where Quaker presence is. Tanzania Church begins, Kenya is here. Here is Kenya. This part is Kenya. Uganda is here. This is, we have Rwanda and the Burundi. We have Rwanda and the Burundi around here. This is Mara, where we have Mugumu. This is where the headquarters, where the church started in Kenya. This is where the church was started and where it had owned about 5 churches from 1952. It stayed here for all from 1952 up to 2007. 2007, the church in Mbeya, which was in Kiel around here, saw the Friends Church on the internet and inquired how they can become Quakers. And we connected and talked and went and planted a new church in Kiel, down here. We have seen the churches grow all the way as we see from up there, where the dots are, that is where the churches have grown, and it is spread all across the country. Currently, the leadership of the church is here. To leave from here and to come down here, when I'm driving, and I always drive fast, it takes me 3 days. 3 days to come from up here to reach down here. And I drive fast. So you can imagine if you are just driving the normal speed of 80, 70, 80, I will take 4 days. Because the traffic is not so much, we don't have so much traffic. So the road, as you can just sometimes drive almost 50 kilometers without seeing any vehicle on the road. So you put full gear. So we have seen churches grow from Mwanza. We have several churches in Mwanza. Kagera, we have several churches. We have several churches in Simiyu, Shinyanga, Geita, Kigoma. Kigoma is where we have the refugee camp, and we have churches in refugee and others out. Tabora, we have seen Zigida. We have seen churches in Manyara. The churches have come up in Dodoma. We have churches in Katavi, Rukwa, Mbeya, Njombe, Iringa, Morogoro, and Pwani in Dar es Salaam. So the churches are all around. And this is where we draw pastors and bring to FTC. So every year we have about 6-7 pastors from Tanzania coming to FTC, train, they graduate, we pick others, they continue to do that. And the way they go back, they go and plant churches. Recently, there was one church in Morogoro. They have actually already opened up another church. In Dar es Salaam, there was one, there already another one has been opened. There are 2 now, as I'm speaking, here this month. Here, Rukwa, let me just give you a history of Rukwa. Rukwa here, at the border here, this is Zambia. This part is where we have a church called Sumbawanga. Sumbawanga in Tanzania, and by all means, everybody knows that community as the home and the master of witchcraft. They are very good in witchcraft. So people will come there, will call themselves professor, doctor. So they are doctor of witchcraft. And it is one of the regions that is less developed because of witchcraft. And the whole country, they fear people coming from that place. Something that has happened, that the Quaker pastors went in and established the churches. And many people have come to join the church, and they're praying. We had a pastor there who is a very prayerful person. Because to walk out of witchcraft does not come out by deciding, now I don't want. Because you are already under the control of darkness. You can't just walk out of it the way you walk out of a house. It's a spirit. You must be delivered. These pastors that have come out of this are very spiritually pastors, and they pray. They have delivered quite a number of people. Many people have joined and been delivered out of witchcraft and coming to see the light. And I visited there sometime, and I got to get in touch with a government person because I think the pastor said that you need to see the regional commissioner. He had been saying, when your leader comes here, you want to see. So we went to see the regional commissioner of this area. And when he visited there, he said, my friend John, I've heard your name. You are the ones leading this team. I said, these are Friends churches and they're being led by Jesus. And he said, I'm so happy the way your church is reaching out my community. This community just requires this kind of ministry. The government cannot get people out of witchcraft. We cannot say, when you are a witch, we are going to jail you. It can't. The only way is churches coming up boldly the way you've come, and I've seen many people. So one thing you need to help us. I would like you to put up schools, to help put up schools for the churches. This community requires schools. They need to be educated. We need to get them out of this dogma, out of this issue of where they're in darkness. Now you are bringing light, and the light need to come also with education. So he said, I'm praying, and I said, it's expensive, but as long as the government can partner with us, we can work alongside and say, if you come up with a plan and want to do some schools, we will come in and see how we can help, because the government is looking to really helping transform the community. So the Quaker church in this community is a light. Just as he said, the children of the light. Remember how Quakers were known as the children of the light. Indeed, it is being replicated in this community as the children of the light. So the light of Christ is shining in the Quaker church in Tanzania. And that's why now the church continues to grow. So the church has grown, and these churches are growing, but they eat my head. They eat my head because there's so many things to be done. As much as I'm feeling happy they're growing, but another level is they need a church. They are meeting under the tree. They need a church. We need to help how we can build up that church. See, we need to see this pastor sometimes. They need some support once in a while. How do I know this? The church is doing, but there are needs also. So as much as I'm happy, the church is growing, it is coming also with its own challenges. The growth has its own challenges. But to me, I find them as a good growth. Here, the churches you see in Tanzania that are like this one here. This church has about 100 members. And this church so far has planted about 5 churches. The way it is. So you can imagine 5 churches have been planted, and this is the church where it is coming. So those 5 churches are looking at this as the church, the mother church, and the mother church is just in a desperate state. These people here are very enthusiastic and praying and go in and the way they worship, my friend, oh my God, it's just, you see heaven coming down. So there are these kind of churches. You see this kind of churches that are all over. They're just, them they build like that, and they just pay. Some they are put few sheets and are not finished. Others they are putting something there, and others. These are the kind of churches. But people are there. They're not discouraging people. This is what gives me a headache. Because when it is like this, I need to find money to see how we can work with them to finish this church. I need to find money to see how we can finish this. So what I'm planning, this is a church in Muhanji where we held the conference. It's Muhanji, and at least this church is completed. What I'm planning and I'm looking forward is actually now I'm engaging, even when I live here, I have a retreat with all the superintendents in Kenya. We are meeting with the superintendents in Busia, all of them, on 20th of November. We shall have a retreat, and some of the key element of focusing on that retreat is the mission involvement in Tanzania, which we had talked sometimes back, but now I'm going to bump it with a very strong level, where we want them to start looking at taking up some churches and yearly meeting. Just take these churches. in Kenya, just take this and help put this church up, help put this meeting up. So I want to throw some of the weight to them so that they don't become a problem in my head all the time. I throw a problem to somebody else to handle for you. So, in Tanzania, we have engaged so much. We managed to have a business training. These are pastors we train in Singida for business training in business so that they can actually go and do. There was a business training where they're given a first-time capital to start a business so that they can help themselves as they do ministry, because there is no salaries for them. So we do business training, we give them a capital, and then they go. This was actually capital funds that were actually donated, was actually done by the friends, the Wabash Friends of Indiana. That's why Indiana left FUM. I was so sad. I felt so bad. These people are just don't know what they're doing, what they're doing. They were trying to come out of Friends United meeting, and they find the energy when they are with us. They are actually a good friends to do. We did missions with them, and these people. There is one pastor here. Thing is, it goes and it does. There is a pastor here, one of them, who has this one on the other side, with the lower side here. The one sitting is called Mwasa. Mwasa got 1 million Tanzanian shillings, which we are giving everyone at that particular time. Went and started his business of making shoes and selling them. His business has grown in such a manner that the guy is making millions of shillings. He has employed so many people to make the money. And he's also very powerful in running the church. He's now the recording clerk of the yearly meeting. He's just been so successful. We just one time 1 million. And it is now he's becoming some of the multi-million person in the business of that business of shoes making and selling, and it's on the border of Zambia and Tanzania. So this has seen many pastors transform and continue to plant churches, not depending on the leader's salary. They are doing the work and doing the ministry. So that is what we encourage when we have a one-time fund and we do that kind of ministry. We help them to see themselves. Tanzania has never failed to amaze me. As they continue to grow and they are bordering Malawi, the churches, they cross the border and they open churches in Malawi. There are 2 churches in the northern Malawi. And the northern Malawi is now, they are coming down when they reach the central part here. They're coming to central part. When they reach central part, the central part here, their target, they're looking at Mozambique. Yeah. So they're already here, and already they're talking of really moving so fast. There's a team that was there recently. I sent their team that is gone there, and they're working on the registration of these churches in Malawi. So this church is just another church that is just growing, and I don't know why. But the problem also, when it goes there, it's another challenge. It's another challenge. It did not go end there. The guys went further. Zambia now became another heaven where the churches are just now grown so much. Here we are churches in Lusaka. Here we are about 2 churches in Lusaka, the capital city. In the capital city of Lusaka, in Zambia, there are 2 churches. And then on the border of Tanzania, where they end up there, we are about 3 churches there, and others are actually coming up. So in other words, the church, and therefore all of them are focusing from Malawi and Zambia. They are looking to ending up in Zimbabwe also. So the Quaker churches are already taking that route of Malawi, Zambia, Zimbabwe, Mozambique. Our end is South Africa. South African Quakers were there, and I saw some people, Quakers in South Africa were there, the first Quakers First Quaker church was actually opened up in South Africa in 1828 by the British when they went there. And that is how, if you read the former President Zuma's story against Christianity, Zuma talked about Christianity and say Christianity was a colonial method that promoted apartheid in South Africa. The British came with the Christianity and they brought apartheid, and they used Christianity to justify their rule and their destruction to us. Zuma has talked that very strongly against the word Christianity and apartheid. The British went there, they established the Quaker Church, but it was also a silent meeting. But up to now, the whole year meeting has 15 members. So that's why our target is to go South Africa and now give a new brand of Quakerism. A new brand of Quaker Church to go to that place. So we coming out of that, we have peace. We have these books. These books were so many printed in the office. The schools have started to take them right now. And they have started right now. The new curriculum is embracing this. Now teaching the peace education in our school. This is primary school. We have others for secondary schools. This is already taken care of and they're already going on. And that is part of our ministry that we are undertaking within the region of Africa. And after having all this program, we come back to sustainability. How do we sustain these challenges? How do we make this work? And I thank Friends United Meeting, and I'm happy the clerk is here. I'm happy we have the clerk is here. Friends United Meeting, through their discussion and the planning of trying to see a long-term and a long-range financial planning, came up how do we do sustainable process and sustainable programs, because people giving is coming down. How do we sustain our programs? Now we are growing so much in Africa. How shall we sustain it? Sustainability. This is why.
John, Western Yearly Meeting loaned $25,000 for part of this project.
Amen. You can now see. So that is now how the important is was we need a one-time loan so that we can multiply. You gave us the 25,000 you gave us, you have to multiply the 25,000. Not the 25,000 to use in ministry, and then we come back. But this one is to multiply. We pay you back, and we continue to grow. That is now where we got 900 acres of land. And God gave this land to us. And when we started planning it and plowing this land, also the government came up with a plan of giving subsidy fertilizer. When the fertilizer was 6,000 Kenya shillings, the government was selling now to us at 3,500, half the price. It reduced the cost of running that farm. While we were thinking that the weather will not be bad, God gave us a good weather, and we had a very good harvest. As I'm speaking to you, we've harvested almost 19 to 20,000 bags from this land. It was one of the best performing land in the area. And the prices are coming up so good. We have dried and we didn't rush to sell. Because the prices of maize in Kenya is growing every day. We are already, as we are looking, we are working right now, we are planting a cover crop on this because we did the harvest. And they took this, they are stored there, the dryer, and then they stored into that. They are safely stored, not kept in bags where somebody can be picking one bag and they go and sell, but they are safely kept. And our selling is to the millers. They will be coming to pick from there, and they take and they give us cash. They pay us before they pick the maize. But at this particular time, we are not giving them. They may have come several times. We are refused because of the price. So we are dictating the price. We are looking. We are speculating. We are in business. This is business. This is business, serious business. And God has been so good in the sense that these funds, we are doing what you call a cover crop, and we are planting canola seed. Canola seed is an oil seed, and it's mostly grown in Canada. And we have a farm in Kenya that is making canola oil, and it's the one that has contracted us. And we have already planted 400 acres. As I'm speaking, they have cleared, they have planted. Mons is doing so good. He has been just so. We have a very good staff. So we have planted 400 acres. Out of the 400 acres, per acre, we are using about closer to 28,000 to 30,000 per acre. And we are going to be paid 67 shillings per kilo. And we expect to produce a minimum of 1,000 kilos per acre or more. Some part of the land will give us more than that. So we are expecting to make a shilling to a shilling. Whatever we put in, if we are putting in 2 million, we expect to get 4 million. If we are putting in, because we are going to spend, we are projected to spend about 4.5 million. Our target is 10 million. So a shilling to a shilling. So is that not a good business? The mission in Tanzania will move forward. So whoever invested in this was a great investment. So whatever Western given in for 25,000, you can imagine that investment is going to make us move forward. And the land is already being prepared. Friends, what am I saying here? I'm saying that the work in Africa is enormous. And it requires all of us to join the hands together, both in prayers, in encouragement, and support financially. And together, we can see Friends United Meeting impacting the world. Together, we can see the changes and transforming people's lives. Together, we can see that people can get food on their table. This farm is not just giving us money, we are also playing a role in food security in Kenya. The farm has employed many families who didn't have jobs to doing farms on the farm. Like when you look at this one here, you see those people there that are putting fertilizer because the maize had grown so high that the machine could not spread the fertilizer. We had several people, and you see those ones. What are they doing? They are putting fertilizer on the ground, on the maize, and that is jobs that we are giving to them. So we have provided jobs to people. We have provided food to the country. We have contributed to food to the country. We have also participated we are also very keen on environmental management as we do the farming of this land. So out of this, at the end, our end result is also we get money to do this kind of work. May the Lord continue to see each one of you and see that you can join us in this ministry so that we can all see that we have achieved our goal and see that we can actually be able to realize what God is doing. So Friends United Meeting is the only organization and the biggest Quake organization in the world that transforms lives of people from all aspects. Spiritually, health-wise, physically, and in every part, even education and everything. That is who we are in Africa, and thank you for being part of us. I want to say something before I sit. Western Yearly Meeting has been very instrumental to our office for many years. I think, Sean, you came and you found some desktop computers which are not now being used. They were the first computers that we received, and it was done by Western through this Fairfield. Your meeting is Fairfield? Mm-hmm. Yes, through Fairfield. You did raise money in 2007 and bought very strong, good laptop computers for our office, which we didn't have, and a printer. Since then, Western has always been on the front line. Every year you always challenge us a wish list. Give us a wish list. What is it that you want this year? What is it? We have always been finding something to be doing, something to be done. In other words, your footprints are in our success of missions in Africa. Whatever we are doing, the footprints of Western Year Meeting is there. The footprints you can see even in the farm, your footprint is there. Your footprint is in the farm production. And I'm so glad and I'm so excited. On this, as I'm going to sit, on this, I want to say, Dar es Salaam Church is one of the church that Western has picked up. And I will not sit down before I can mention this gratitude. Dar es Salaam is a city church. Dar es Salaam is an upcoming church in the city. Our target is to make sure that the Dar es Salaam Church grow, and then we come to Dodoma, the capital city, where we have already agreed we are changing the headquarters, moving from Mara, bringing it to Dodoma at the headquarters. This was passed by the General Conference that we are bringing the headquarters here. We have discussed with the Kelly, we need to look at how we can find some resources again to put also a plot and build up an office, and a church is already there in Dodoma, so that it's a headquarter at the center that will manage both the south and the north and everywhere. And then Pwani is the biggest, Dar es Salaam is the biggest business city of Tanzania. Everybody passing through there. So our presence there and buying a plot and building a church that is stronger there is one of, because that is where everybody from Tanzania becomes part of that church, because it's a city urban church that everybody from all over Tanzania, because we have several people from the south, from the north are coming to Dar es Salaam, and that is a bigger impact. A bigger impact. What am I saying? Western Year Meeting, you are playing a big role in achieving our success of mission work in Tanzania. You have been giving up some resources even for training, for leadership development. There are funds that came in on time. We did a lot of developing. Some of this growth has come as a result of your involvement and support that we have actually used. The good thing is that the funds that comes up, they go for very good use. And I want to thank you and appreciate you and pray that continue being with us. Continue moving with us. Don't stop. Continue moving with us so that we see what God has for us for the future. I'm so grateful and I'm so happy that today, as I present this, what we are doing in Africa and in Kenya, and I'm glad you can be able to listen to these so many words. But I just say, thank you so much. May God bless you. Thank you, Sean. Thank you for being a good steward for us.
Well, I mean, you know that our